everyone, it's Renee here, and today I want to show you these little notebook things I've made using a paper bag template digi from the shop. So I've made them different closures on them, but they're essentially the same thing, little note papers inside a little flip open note book. And this one, just a boat. And it's teeny tiny. Have it upside down. There we go. Same deal. And I'm just going to show you how I've made these today. Now I've started by printing out two different paper bags. These are from the Paper Bag and Tags collection. I'm also going to show you how to do it with the freebies, but we'll start with this one. And I've printed one on 250 GSM card, and I printed the other on regular 80 GSM copy paper. So I'm just going to quickly cut around these. I'm not going to cut them right up against the edge because we're going to have to cut them again shortly. So we'll just start by roughly trimming it out. And keep your card offcuts for the time being. We might use those for the closure, or I tend to keep all my card offcuts. I like making them into other things. Right, I've just cut around it in a rectangle shape, and I'm going to do the same with the paper. Alright, so now I've got those cut out like that, I'm going to take a piece of paper to glue on, like this. And on one piece I am going to use a glue stick and cover it entirely, like this. And then I'm going to stick the other piece on the back, making sure they're the same orientation. Like that. And press. Now, you should wait for it to completely dry before doing the next step, and I did one a little while ago which is a bit drier. It's still not 100%. We'll continue on with this one. As you can see, it's the same design. So next what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to make sure I've got a sharp blade because it's a bit damp, and every time I try and cut with a not incredibly sharp blade on something that's a bit damp, I tend to tear it. I'm just going to take this older blade off and cut with the fresher blade. Now I'm going to put this ruler along the top of the bag, and I'm just going to trim it along there, cutting off the two little rounded bits there. And I'm going to do the same at the bottom on the very top edges of the bag here, and cut this off. And I'm going to keep this part because I'm going to use that a little later. I'm just going to tidy up these edges, making sure there's no white showing on both sides. Trim. And flip it over. Little tiny trim on this side. Like that. Alright. Give it a touch more at the top here. On this side. Perfect. Alright. So next I need to decide which I want to be the inside and which I want to be the outside. I think on this one I'm going to do the brown on the outside and this sort of greyish blue on the inside. I'm going to put my ruler like that on the fold line, and I'm just going to press it up from the underneath like that, both sides. And then I'm just going to fold it in and press it down. At this point, when you look at it, if it's not quite perfect at the top, you've got a little overhang like this, and you can just trim it using your blade or your scissors just to make sure that it doesn't overhang the edges. Right, time for a little inking. All the edges inside and out. Okay, just want to tell you, if you're going to do this type of closure that I've done on this little one, it's best to do it at this point, and that's, I'll do that on this one so you can see I've done that. I'm just going to eyeball it. In fact, I'm going to do it from the outside because it'll be a little more obvious there, and I'm just going to put a little mark where I want the little slices to be. So that looks about right. In fact, if you want to be accurate about it, measure in from the edge. That looks like about 4 centimetres there. So I'll mark there, and I'll do the same mark from the other side, like that. And then using your knife and a ruler, just a little slice, not too long, about the same on each side, just like that. Alright, so I'm just using some, I've got this black cotton fabric that I've just torn up. This one's probably alright thickness. Sometimes tear it a bit thinner, but this will do. So I'm going to use this little tiny ball tool just to poke the fabric through the slit I've made, like this. And then, straight as I can, back through the other one, if I can find it. Where are you? There you are. Back through. Like that. And trim it down afterwards. Alright, so next I am going to get, I've got these sheets that I've printed from the Text Panels and Pieces digital from the shop. Don't need to use these, you could just use blank paper, or tea-dyed paper, or whatever you want. And I've printed on the back just a sort of plain pattern or a plain colour, and I've printed these little panel pieces on the front. I'll just cut them out and I'll be right back. Right, so now I've got these cut out, I'm just going to put them all together like this, and I'm going to use my stapler to just staple them together at the top like that, and a little inking along the edge like this. Okay, now bring my bag book back. Now, using my art glitter glue, I'm just going to pop a line across the top, making sure to get around the staples like this, and then place it centrally inside, like that. Now that bit we cut off before that I said we're going to use later, that's this bit. I'm just going to trim it straight on each edge. Oops. And straight there. Make that edge. Like that. More glue. Actually, because it's double-sided, you can decide which way you want it. I was going to put it this way, although that way seems like better, but option, not upside down, generally works better. Or, if I trim it a bit better, I could put it up like that, which suits the inside. But I think I like this line of text, so I'm going to put it that way. Glue. And make sure I got it up the right way. And I put it over the top of the staples, like this. Right, I mean that's all there really is to it. It's dead easy. And at this closure I'm just going to tie it around this and a bow. If that's too much for you, just trim it off a bit. But, you know, I quite like that. I'm quite happy with that. Take it out, write my notes, put it away. Alright, so let me show you how you can do this with the freebie. So I've printed, again, on a regular copy paper, one print, and on 250 GSM, the other one. I printed the freebie paper bag template, and then making sure it was in the same orientation, I've printed the freebie collage pages pack. Well, 2 pages from the pack, anyway. This sort of tanny brown, peachy one, and this grey one. So I'm going to do the same thing, cut out the rectangle and glue them together, and I don't need to bore you with watching that again, so I'll be back in a moment. Alright, so here I have it. It's dried out a bit. I am going to trim off the excess like we did last time with a sharp blade. And I think I'll have the, I need to trim this little white bit off. Anyway, I was saying, I think I'll have the little, the colour on the outside and the grey and the white on the inside, so find the tool, there it is, like that, and like that, fold it over, press. That one's actually lined up pretty good. Bit of inking. Oh, actually, now I've set it, there's a tiny bit there I want to trim. That. Better. No, don't need to do it. Stop being pedantic. Right. This time we'll just put some plain white paper inside. So, grab, might need 2 sheets. I'm going to fold it in half. And then in half again. And I'm just going to mark with this pencil where I want to cut it. Like that. in my paper bag notebook folder thingy. Do the same with this one, so I've got at least 8 pages. Also got dirty fingers, which I'm putting on the white paper, which is fantastic. It will do. Right, so there we have the white pages. I'm just going to give it a little ink over the edges. Like this. And then using my stapler, and I'm out of staples. Here's another stapler. Okay. Bit of glue along the top at the back. Placing it centrally. That. Glue on my hand. And then finding that piece that I wanted to use. This is it. I'll trim it out and then I'll decide which side I want to use. Alright, so I can have it black and white, like that. Yeah, definitely the black and white side. Okay. What I might do, you don't need to do this, but because I want to make this look a little more interesting, I'm going to pop a little stamp on it. Like that. And also a little like that. Just fill it in so it's not so bleh. Bit of glue. Can't cooperate. Place it there. I've got to get this glue off my fingers. Just like that. Little notebook. So for this one, what I might do is take some of the card that I've cut off when I've trimmed around the edge of the digital to cut it out. I've still got some 250 GSM card strips, and I'm going to cut a little bit off. Lost everything. Bit of glue and glue it on top of the other piece of card. Like that. And then some of the paper I've cut off. Alright, so this will do. So I'm going to glue, cut that there because I like that up to there. I'm going to glue, stick this card on this part, like that. Trim that down a bit. And on the other side, there, I think. There-ish. Alright. Trim. 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 Now, I've got to decide how big I want it, what orientation I want it. I'm happy with it sort of rectangular, do I want it round? This is the part where you can just play. Going to round the corners, I think. Like this. And then I'm going to ink the edges like this. There we go. So, decide whether I want it like this or like this. Or over the other side. I like that. Alright, so I need a bit of my black cotton. I don't want it as thick this time. I'm going to try and tear it. It's not always cooperative. It's decided to play today. Now I have a much thinner piece. Get my strings off. I am going to put a bit of glue here. And press the cotton there. And about half of this tile on the back glue. Over the top of that ribbon. Make sure it's central-ish. It's probably a bit big, but I like them. Alright, a bit of excess glue's just wiped on there, so just get that off. And then you wait until it's dry before you start putting too much pressure on it, but just wrap it around and tuck in. Like that, Abby. Or if you want, you could wrap it the other way around. So, go up this. Tuck it under, like that. Lots of options. Alright, well that's all there is to those. Quick and easy. Hopefully you enjoyed that and you want to give it a try. Like I said, you can make these with the freebies, so go over to the shop if you haven't already and get the Collage paper pack and the paper bag template to make this. I'll pop links in the description box. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye!